Hello, Gina here, and today I'm going to be doing my day one of my December daily for 2020, and I am excited to show you the things I'm going to be working with today. I haven't really demonstrated or shown my beautiful Felicity Jane album I'm using this year. Last year I got the Felicity Jane album with the stars, the white one with the black stars, and I absolutely love it. And then went ahead and wanted to continue the tradition of Felicity Jane albums, which I feel like I have decided, I just love Felicity Jane. And while I love so many other scrapbooking materials, the quality of this is just amazing. And I'm a gold fan too, so I just love the gold binding or the gold ring binder for this. So I am going to jump right in. I did a process video on my title page, and I since have put in this acetate divider, and I feel like I want to do something to this as an intro, so I might come back to that, but I love the way it kind of introduces my project title page. And I did a process video, as I stated, with this. In this little bag, I wanted to just take a second and clarify. In my video, I didn't know or remember what came in this cute little polka dotted bag with this sweet little washi, and then there's even some little fuzzy fuzz on it. And guess what came in it? It's actually my Felicity Jane Coco Kit, all of this goodness and little ribbon bits and all of that. So I stuck it in the jar here when I first got it, because I was like, I gotta look at it, and then I forgot that I had set that aside to use. So anyway, this is from Coco Kit, and I am excited that it introduces my album. Moving right along, I did not do a process video for my next page, but I did a calendar. And Felicity Jane, the Coco Kit, came with this calendar layout with these calendar numbers, and I absolutely love these puffy stickers. But I wanted to use this December calendar document card that I got from a Paislee Press December daily kit that I had also purchased as bits and pieces. And so I went ahead, I love using a calendar in my daily life, and I want to just fill in some fun little things throughout the month that we do. And so I did throw that in and covered the other part of this. So today I'm going to be working on day one, and I'm going to be putting in a 3x8 page protector in the process. And so this is going to go in here, and then I'm going to be covering up this really great divider here with some pre-cut paper. So I have my pictures printed, I have my paper cut, and I have some bits that I'm going to be using for my layout. So day one layout, I am going to pull out this little sheet, and those are the two things I'm going to be working with. And then I'm also going to be, as I stated before, using my numbers. I have some bits and pieces with another picture. So I have a couple of things I'm going to use with the 3x8 over here. I'm going to be covering up this, and I have some things laying out to tell the story of this wreath on my door. I'm going to be using some Coco stamps, as well as some washi, and who knows what else I'm going to put in. And I actually have this sweet little ribbon that I'm hoping to use. So let's go ahead, move and groove to the process, and let's get started. I printed my pictures of my front door with this lovely wreath. My day one is all about my good friend Lisa, and a tradition she started about 3 years ago, where she has a special wreath delivered to me and my family. And it's just such a great, sweet surprise. And so this is the day it arrived. So I printed those two pictures. One is the front door, which is going to be in the front of the 3x8 page protector that I have. And right now I'm just wanting to adhere this black number, comes from the Felicity Jane Coco Kit this year. So fighting with that sticky tape, I'm putting on the red line tape so that that one doesn't move around. And I love this little, it's like a key identifier tag. I have that to the side that I'm going to be putting on to the front door, but I have this little Christmas, like it's a, let's see, it's a Christmas memories chipboard piece that I got last year in my Felicity Jane kit. And this is only my second year doing December daily, so very excited. So I'm going to pop these in back to back, front and back in the 3x8, which I plan to put, as I said, in my album. And my stamp positioner, I like to pull this out and use it for everything. And I wanted to get those tiny little word stamps I'm going to be putting on. I wanted to be sure that they got on there nice and easy. A little tricky because those little magnet didn't hold my thing down. And it's so funny because the magnet kept trying to get my little my little tweezers there. But I have two little phrase stickers that say today's story, and then right under it, merry and bright. And they come from a December daily stamp set that I believe I got through Ali Edwards. So I'm just putting on some of my stays on. And the reason I love this so much is that I can double up on this and make sure that it comes through clear. I need to use this more often. I always forget about this thing, but it can be used for all of my stamping on small items, small cards, small little pieces of paper, great for 3x4 stamping. So I'm putting a little star from the Coco Kit. I love stars. This year is sort of my running theme. So I'm putting a little star, and I use some Stampin' Up! Red that I have in my stash from years ago. And just making sure that that goes down. Whoops, and then I lost my position there and have to readjust. But that's the beauty of these stamp positioners. On and on and on. Almost comical. Aha, finally. And it comes out perfect. So I thought this would be appropriate because it's a little key tag that you could have. And I got these on Amazon in a little package. And, excuse me, thought I would go ahead and put some of this red and white Christmas twine that I use at Christmas time. I got it on Amazon. And as you see, I have a lifetime supply. I'm going to go ahead and put that right on through. And then I would like to have it hang down. So I struggle a little bit with how I want it on the outside because I want it to have sort of a dangling effect. So I'm kind of problem solving and exploring some ways I might put it on. So I sort of tucked it between the two pictures. And then I get wise, and I think I grab my mini attacher. I'm just going to fiddle faddle with that. And this tiny attacher is probably my favorite tool of all time. Love the tiny little delicate ones. And then I realized, oh my goodness, it's over this sheet protector. What am I going to do? So then I just doubled up. When all else fails, I think I'll just grab that mini attacher again. And I think, bam, those pictures are going to stay in there forever. So I like the way it's hanging down, and I'm going to take a little sticky dot, little mini one. These are great for good secure holds, and I put one on each side of the rim. It's like a metal rim tag, I guess, which I know people put on keys, so I thought it was fitting with my door, with my beautiful wreath all set and ready. So feeling good about that. And the other side. Yes, I just like the simplicity of this. And then I decide I would like a little bit of the star theme to come on this side. So I grabbed one of the Felicity Jane Coco chipboard gold stars, and I thought, I'm going to put that on. At the very top right of that, there's a staple showing. And later on in my final pictures, I ended up adding another gold star to cover the staple that's on the other side of that wreath, which I neglected to see. But I set that aside because I'm now going to go over and cover the original divider that was meant to be a calendar, and I'm covering it with this beautiful Felicity Jane paper. It was a 12 by 12, and I've used it in all kinds of shapes for the last two spreads. Love this other side too of the white with the little black Christmas trees or little black trees, but I love this pink. I'm really just just enamored with the soft pinks and greens in my Christmas album this year. So I think that's like it's 6 by 8. And so I made it just the exact size in the height with a little room for the holes on the sides. And now I'm just going to grab some different layering pieces for another picture of me in front of the wreath um, that I took and sent my friend Lisa. And I think I posted it on Instagram story as well. So I printed that out and added my journaling in Photoshop. And so I love this because I'm using some of the Felicity Jane tissue that I have a plethora of from a year of getting the subscription to Felicity Jane. I saved that tissue and I love polka dot. Black polka dot on white is just so perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and layer this up, and I love a large doily I have in my stash, and I'm going to just kind of pinch those together with my stapler. And I have this wreath that is a part of the ephemera pack. In the Felicity Jane Coco Kit, and I like the idea. I hate to cover it up, but I'm thinking, no, I just love like the accent of having that. And you'll see me move it around a little bit. I actually don't end up keeping it where it is right now, but I do love the idea that it's a wreath, and I wanted to add it to this layout. So now I'm using this amazing lattice. This is also Felicity Jane. I just purchased it. It's a brand new roll. It did not come in the Coco Kit, but it was a part of some extras that I needed in my life. So I'm just adding a little bit to that to kind of add some weight to the bottom of the page. And now I have, you'll see me play around with this little tag. This is actually the little label greeting that came in the wreath from my friend Lisa Bella. She's one of my dear friends who, again, had started this tradition of sending our family this amazing wreath for our door. And this is our third Christmas she's done it. And it's so special to us. And so I wanted to highlight this on the first day. And so I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with it. So I set it aside because I'm not even exactly sure where it's going to go or what I'd like to do with it. So I decided I want to emboss. I want to add some gold accents to my paper. And I had chosen this stamp from the Coco Kit called Home for the Holidays. And I wanted to play on the word home for this theme. That ends up being my title as well. So you'll see me just take some Versamark. I stamped this Home for the Holidays stamp. And now I'm using my gold glitter. I stamped it twice and am embossing it twice because I want to make sure that I get a good image. My embossing powder, so there's different kinds of embossing powder. And as you know, embossing powder, if you don't know, it's tiny pieces of plastic that end up melting when it sticks to that with your heat tool. And often the finer the embossing powder is, the more detailed your image will be. And I'm not sure I have the greatest embossing powder. It's just a general gold. I don't know if I can list it below. And it works well with solid images. I'm partially pleased with the way the Home for the Holidays came out, but I end up using one of those, and I decide I want to take the circle, kind of like wreath circle shape, and I stamp that out or punch that out using I think it's 1¼ inch that fit perfectly around that little sentiment. And now again, I'm playing with this. Sorry that I'm off camera a little bit, but I'm playing around with this little greeting card tag that was pasted inside the box that the wreath came in. So then I'm getting clever and I decide I love my glassine bags. And I think to myself, I want to use this glassine bag, but I don't really know how I would use it. And I decide how perfect it would be to put this on a tag and then hide it behind the picture and then put it in and use it as part of the layering piece. So I go and grab my Hey Santa 6x8 paper pack. I love this. And I remember that there's this sweet little Arctic Express piece that I can use. It's like a little shipping tag, I guess. And because this was a delivery from Lisa, I think, perfect. It'll go well with my theme. And I love, to be honest, the contrasting kind of goldish color that it is to play off my gold and to also be kind of something that sticks out. So this is going to be what I'll adhere, the little message from Lisa that came with the wreath. I'll go ahead and put that in. I'm going to end up dating it, and it's going to be just a good piece in addition to the journaling to remember this special day. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and trim around this tag. I use my little snips and I decide, oh, I love these for little things, but I'm going to get my big daddies out. And these are my big giant scissors from Tim Holtz. And they can get one big bite and it just takes you to town. So I kind of trim that up and I decide, let's see if we can just adhere this. So on I go. No fiddle faddle here. Let's get this done. So I go ahead and put that on. And I love this washi. This is some washi I got also from Felicity Jane. I'm not kidding when I say I am using all my Felicity Jane collection. Add a little there to accent that bottom, and I just love the way it adds a little black and white to that. And I want to keep it simple, but then I think to myself, do I want to attach it to this tag? And I think, no, I don't want that to lose its kind of shipping card ambiance. So I decide to pull out these sweet little Avery tabs, and they're the mini ones. So they're perfect for these little things. And so I'm going to go ahead and I have all sizes. These are the tiny, oh, they're so cute. They're little mini ones. So I'm going to adhere that to an end so that when I put it in the glassine bag, it's going to have a little tab to grab when I want to pull that out. So there, I'm going to put that in, and I see it's a little short for that, so you'll see me problem solve that in a couple minutes. But I decide, do I want to put a sentiment on the little tag of the tab? So yeah, I end up finding this one that says Holiday Love. Oh, these tiny little pieces. I'll list this little set below that I love, and it has a million, exaggerating on that, but it has like a million little sayings. This one again says Holiday Love, and so I'm going to use my Versamark to go ahead and stamp that just onto that tiny little tag, and then I'm going to slip that right into my tab after cleaning my stamp up with my chamois. I'm learning really to be disciplined about putting these, especially these tiny little stamps away, because when you don't, they go missing, and I am not wanting to lose any of these sweet little stamps. So I try to do a good job at putting things away. It's a struggle. All right, so I stick this little tag in. I'm having a little fight, but then I win in the end. And then I notice that end. I want it to be able to poke up. So I like the way I'm gonna play around with the idea of this later, but I think I gotta solve this problem. So mini stapler to the rescue. I'm gonna staple that so that it can't go past a certain place. And I just, again, love glassine bags. So I'm gonna pop that behind there, and then I'm gonna play around with the layering of all of these pieces. But I do decide I wanna sew around some different items. So I'm gonna be taking a break in a second to go and sew some trim to stitch around some things on my big quilting machine, because sadly my little singer that I use for all my paper has decided to stop working, and I just can't handle the stress of it. So I'll take a break in a second, but in the meantime, I'm sort of getting the layering down, and I end up liking the leaf at the bottom, or not the leaf, the wreath at the bottom of that, deciding on maybe a title that I will put, and these are also the letters that came, the puffy letters that came with the Felicity Jane kit. And again, my layers, I love, kind of like the fluffy layer look. I don't want things to be too perfect. I found in my old age that those imperfections are what make life beautiful, and it takes a lot of pressure off myself. So I decide I'm going to take my Sharpie and kind of do a messy frame around the home for the holidays. And I end up, it's so messy, but I am in love with messy framing, because the border around, I love borders no matter what. I just feel like it is really a statement piece on anything and adds a lot of like closure to whatever I'm stamping. So I love that. I end up adding that little piece, and I hold off for a second because I know that's something I think I want to stitch through. And here are those letters again. I've decided I want to pull out HOME and make that my main title to enlighten and enhance my wreath. My journaling is titled Friendship Wreath 2020. And you'll see me start with the E and move backwards. And then I realize this M is so wide that I'm not going to have room for my H. So I think I'm going to force it and I'm going to cram it in there. And then I think better and I decide that is not wise. I don't want to hide the H. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot them down, shimmy to the right. And it's kind of nice because these letters, you just like to lightly put them down and then they can be moved around. That's what I really love, but then they stay very securely. The quality, again, of all of the Felicity Jane items are so amazing, and I have just fallen in love. So I really love the way that bold home and the shape of those letters just really title up my main side of my layout. And I jiggle and jaggle, and I'm thinking I need something behind, or excuse me, underneath the word home. So I'm wanting to, I like the idea of cozy, but in the Coco Kit, cozy is very bold. So you'll see me later find another solution, but I'm showing you now where I took and stitched on some of my items. And now I'm going to use, yeah, I did a little border and I stitched through home. Oh, I just love it. Stitching is probably one of my favorite newer consistent things I'm doing on all of my projects. So I really, 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 really like it. And now I'm looking for, I think I'm gonna date my card. So I'm using the Felicity Jane date stamp. I have quite a collection of date stamps, but I really love the font and the versatility of this date stamp. And I'm just putting December 1st because that happened to be the day that this came with my Stays on Ink. And there's a little date. So I'll write in there, it says to whom, and also it also talks about the date. And so that's what I put right under that in that little section. Now I'm using some dimensionals from Stampin' Up! That I love. They're great foam tape that is kind of dimensional with different shapes so you can stick. I stuck, I think, 2 or 3 on there. And I just love the way they fit so nicely. And then I want to add this gold heart that I actually didn't show embossing, but it's an extra leftover from a special project I'm working on, and I just loved it. So I go ahead and I add a little staple to that because staples. And I love the way the gold sort of draws the eye and frames that picture. And the gold in the tag goes for that little, set of 3 that we all kind of like to look toward. So I'm kind of deciding what I want to do about putting something under that home. I need to fill that space. I'm feeling like it's a little bare up there in the upper right hand corner. So I like this little kind of snowflake star shape that's in the kit, the stamp set this year, the Coco Kit. And I just love the little delicate arms on that. And so I want to put my little set of 3 down. So I decide, where do I want to put the third one? So I kind of just say, oh, okay, let's pop it down there. In a set of 3, not really a triangle, very skinny, a cute triangle, if any, but I like the way that looks. Now I'm trying to decide again what's going to go under that home. And here's where I believe I pull out last year's kit, the Noel kit, which was my first introduction actually to Felicity Jane. And I did not get a chance to get the entire Noel kit. I just was getting bits and pieces that were left over from what could be ordered after selling out. And I did my first December daily, as I stated last year. So this was a word in there, and it's cozy, and it's in a script, a cursive script, and I just love it. And it's a perfect fit for right under home. Cozy home is my idea. first time I think I used that, so I wanted to do a test stamp real quick, and then I get bold and go just stamp it out, and I love the way it looks. The little stamp chamois is new to me too. I've just been using that for a few months, and I really like the way it cleans all my stamps. So I'm kind of looking, and I recall, I think it's getting to where, oh, I'm just sort of bending the edges. I love this look of bending all of those edges to sort of ruffle them. I'm doing that on the bottom there. And I can't remember what I do next here. I think I'm looking to see. Oh, I know. I want to put a little Tim Holtz. Yes, I pull out these amazing little sayings, and I want to add to the tab on that side of the, tab that people can turn, which will take me to my next layout for the next day. So I think I chose the word blessed, which describes how I feel about my sweet friend Lisa. And I staple, and I'm pretty close to wrapping this little layout up. So I'm so excited for this. I'm going to trim a few pieces. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope that you're inspired and enjoy your holiday season. And this is my day one. See you next time for day two. Bye.